without Tatum, without Porzingis. An inevitable loss? That was the feeling hanging in the air at TD Garden that night. Everyone thought it. The fans, the analysts, even the opponents. After all, losing your two biggest stars right before the playoffs isn't just a challenge, it's a full-blown red flag, the kind of situation that usually tears a team apart. But then, the unexpected happened. The Boston Celtics, with a practically improvised lineup, stepped onto the court like nothing was wrong. And more than that, they dominated the game from start to finish, steamrolling the Washington Wizards without mercy. So the real question isn't just, how was this possible? It's, what does this performance truly say about this team's depth, mentality, and future? Before tip-off, the anxiety was palpable. Jayson Tatum was out with a nagging ankle sprain, the kind of lingering pain that raises alarms not only because of the current absence, but because of his injury history in high-stakes moments. Kristaps Porzingis also missed the game, still recovering after taking a brutal elbow in the previous matchup against the Suns. Without them, expectations were low. All that remained was Boston's so-called supporting cast. But what we saw on the floor was so much more than a plan B. It was a masterclass in team basketball, in system execution, in maturity. 7 players finished with double figures. Derek White took over offensively, dropping 19 points with absurd efficiency, while orchestrating the defense like a maestro. Luke Cornett had a monstrous performance in the paint, grabbing 14 rebounds, 9 of them offensive. Yes, 9. That's not normal. And at 38 years old, Al Horford once again defied Father Time, controlling the tempo like it was still his all-star prime. Facing a 19-year-old rookie, Coulibaly, Horford turned the hardwood into a classroom. Of course, many will say, yeah, but it was just the Wizards. And it's true that Washington is having one of the worst seasons in the league, but that's a lazy take. The Celtics didn't win because of luck or simple talent. They won because they have an identity. They won because even without their stars, they know exactly what to do on the court. And that kind of confidence isn't built overnight. How? It's the result of a long-term culture of trust between players, coaches, and a well-defined philosophy. After the game, Joe Mazzulla summed up the mindset inside this locker room. We don't know who we're playing in the playoffs, but we're ready for anything. A calm, almost offhand comment, but one that speaks volumes. And that belief is turning into action. Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard, Baylor, Shireman. 3 guys who, on most other teams, wouldn't even be in the rotation. And yet, they were protagonists. Hauser and Pritchard combined for 38 points, hitting threes in ruthless, back-to-back fashion. Baylor, a rookie fresh out of the draft, stepped on the floor and within 2 minutes had already drained 2 triples and delivered an acrobatic behind-the-back assist. The kind of play you usually see in video games. But this time, it was real. What no one expected was for a shorthanded team to show this level of chemistry. While many franchises are still desperately searching for a reliable 6th man, the Celtics seem to have an entire second unit that could start for several teams. And that shifts the entire playoff outlook. This roster depth isn't just a luxury, it's a weapon. When asked about Cornett, Derek White said, he's always in the right spot. If someone misses a shot, he's there. A simple phrase, but one that reveals something deeper. Chemistry. These guys know each other. They know where the others will be. They trust. They play for something bigger than themselves. But in the midst of this wave of optimism, an uncomfortable question begins to creep in. Jaylen Brown did play, yes, but only for 22 minutes. After the game, he described his knee pain as painful, and yet he was impactful, scoring 15 points, including a wild stretch in the third quarter when he basically carried the team. But is he pushing too hard? Are the Celtics risking their finals co-MVP's health just to maintain rhythm? Or is there's something they're not telling us? That choice to rest or to push could be the defining factor in the playoffs. Because if Brown breaks down, everything else follows. The entire structure built around Tatum and Brown depends on at least one of them being healthy. Without Tatum, and with Brown running on fumes, plan A, B, and C go out the window. This calls for caution, for intelligence, but also for courage. Mazzulla will have to make some tough calls, and not everyone will like them. This game also carried a powerful emotional thread, maybe the most symbolic of the night. Marcus Smart, the Warrior, who wore Celtics green with heart and soul for 9 seasons, returned to TD Garden, and the fans didn't forget. He was greeted with cheers, chants, respect. But then, the unexpected happened. Smart didn't play, not even for a single minute, not even at the end, when the outcome was already decided. Wizards coach Brian Keefe kept him on the bench. Maybe it was strategic, maybe it was protection, but to many, it felt like a letdown. The crowd asked, shouted, begged, nothing. And to make it worse, Smart got into a heated argument with a fan behind the bench. The fan was ejected. Smart looked visibly shaken. After the game, he was blunt. "That guy crossed the line. Everyone knows I don't tolerate that." What was supposed to be a night of celebration turned into controversy, and now the question lingers. Was this a sign of disrespect toward a franchise legend? Or did Keefe make the right call in shielding a player who maybe wasn't emotionally ready for the moment? In truth, this game, seemingly irrelevant on the calendar, turned out to be a snapshot of the season. It showed the Celtics' strengths and their unresolved issues. It revealed the team's depth, discipline, and bench brilliance, but also exposed vulnerabilities, decisions to be made, and lingering wounds. Because now, with the playoffs looming, the margin for error disappears. Tatum needs to return healthy. Porzingis needs to be 100%, which, let's be honest, is never a guarantee. Brown needs smart management, and the bench needs to keep delivering when the pressure rises. Is it a lot to ask? Yes, but that's the difference between champions and almost champions. The truth is, the Celtics are living a season that could become historic. Winning back-to-back titles hasn't happened since 1969, and that kind of achievement takes more than talent. It takes sacrifice. It takes bold decisions. It takes players like Hauser, Pritchard, Cornet, and Baylor being ready to become invisible heroes, the ones who win the games nobody saw coming. And what do you think? Should the Celtics give Shireman and Pritchard more minutes, even in big games? Should Jaylen Brown be rested now, even if it means risking losses down the stretch? Was it right for Marcus Smart not to step on the court on his emotional return to the Garden? Drop your take in the comments. Share with your fellow Celtics fans. And tell me, was this just another win, or the clearest sign yet that Boston is truly ready to defend the crown? And hey, if you're down, in the next video I'll dive into a comparison between this Celtics squad and the 2008 champions. I'll break down why this team might actually be the most complete we've seen since the Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Ray Allen era. But that's a conversation for another day. For now, I'll leave you with this. Could the key to the next ring be sitting quietly at the end of the bench,